We're into the first game. We all agree that this really could go either way. It's so many circumstances coming into play here. But I feel like if both these teams play at their best, I think Rogue would edge it. But will they play at their best, or will Scrubkilla be able to bring out the performance that he was able to bring out at Insomnia 60? Great start though from Matt. First goal for the series. This could be huge for Rogue.
Yeah, and here's the thing, we cannot look to either of these teams and say, okay, they might not have enough LAN experience. Scrubkilla, 100% a LAN. That being said, he has only played in one at Insomnia. Pashi, second place at the previous season in Season 2, did not make LAN this season though. Every single player here has got extensive time in front of crowds, in front of a LAN environment. Almost managed to turn that one straight in for the response goal. But Defusekids will continue to try and go on the search, and they will find it. You found Wally, my friends, and there is a goal for you.
And the first goal really should have happened. Niels was just late on the arrival, which shows that they are adapting their strategy from what they showed us against XL, where they were all sitting so close to each other, making sure that they would win every race after a dead ball 50-50. But they seem to be spreading out a little bit more to adapt to Rogue. They're worried about those Rogue hard clears and passing plays on the counter-attack, which so they should be. Rogue are definitely a dangerous team in that regard.
Yeah, Rogue had one series, I believe it was their first series of the entirety of the LAN, where they just passed and took the leftovers apart for an entire 3-game series. I believe they took that one in a sweep.
Oh, this should be a goal.
Well, I can't quite remember, and that's going to be immediately turned straight in. Scrubkilla will be credited with the goal. Fast pace to start us off here.
Yeah, one double commit from the second and last man back for Rogue is all it's going to take. This is bad news for them because Defusekids are looking a lot more organized than they did earlier. I was a bit worried if they bring in the same strategy that they did against Excel, where they're kind of doubling up on offense and double dribbling the ball together. I felt like they would struggle here because that's not an organized play style that I've ever seen work at the highest level. But they're looking much better in the first minute here. I think if they can continue that, they will definitely be the favorites. But oh my word!
That was a true doink right there, but Sizz will not get the goal. And that is going to be pushed straight across to the other side. Rogue are struggling as they had to try and go from East Coast to West Coast for the goal. But Defusekids, they are doing a very good job of spreading themselves out across the rotation. And communication, I believe Pashi will be taking the main role on that, is working out very well. No double commits.
One thing you can always credit teams that involve Pashi is comebacks. They've made so many good comebacks in the past to have teams that involve Pashi. And that goes all the way back to the Crown and Jewels days, one of the best comebacks of all time, scoring 2 goals in 6 seconds against Flipside, including a last-second goal to equalize the game. And onwards to RLCS Season 2 with Mocket, reverse sweeping Orbit with multiple comebacks, I think 2 in that series alone, where they were able to tie the game on 0 seconds. So you can never count these guys out. Pashi, a great leader, great believer in himself and his team to make comebacks happen. Right now that won't be necessary as they are in the lead. But with Rogue threatening fairly regularly as this series and this game goes on, I would not be surprised if we see more goals from them.
Yeah, but it seems like a huge amount of speed is coming out from Defusekids, and it is something that Rogue is not able to respond to. That third man Turtle gets beat, and Matt has to just hope him and Sizz come together, and Scrubkilla can easily mop that one up. It is looking like a 2-goal lead now for Defusekids, and they don't look like they're going to be dropping it anytime soon.
Yeah, that was very messy coming back into defense from Rogue. Everybody just arriving in the exact same location at the same time. Nobody sweeping right to the back post. Something that we sometimes see from Flipside, and that was probably their biggest problem in RLCS Season 3. Now starting to come into play for Rogue, which is unusual. I've never seen this be a regular problem for them, but you never know just how badly these real-life situations are affecting them. It's certainly not easy flying from the West Coast all the way to Europe. Crossbar saves that shot from Matt, who is the striker for this team, top goal scorer for Rogue in the majority of tournaments. Definitely a great hitter of the ball.
Defusekids still find themselves up, but almost yet again. The crossbar coming out to save them. I believe it might be the best defender on their entire team, which would be fairly impressive considering the roster. I know. Scrubkilla, especially during his time, I believe it was with Desga de Heldo.
Oh yeah.
Was playing a certain goalkeeper position only. But Matt,
the slow roll, he just stopped this midair and let it fall into the goal. Both Pashy and Scrubkiller made to look like fools because Matt has just lobbed this top corner right behind them. 120 on the clock. Definitely a chance for Rogue, and we do see smiles on Siz's face. These guys so reliant on being motivated, believing in themselves, believing in each other. But do they have it in them to take down this stacked, talented squad of Defusekids? A lot of crossbars coming into play this game. This time for Defused.
I believe we can certainly get away with calling Rogue probably the loudest team in history, mostly because of Sizz.
Maybe.
It's
There's
pretty
also
much
Take
all
3.
him.
Take 3 of Season 2 were pretty loud.
They certainly were, actually.
Zane Jackie was something else.
But they are still 1 goal away from tying us back
Sizz.
up here. 40 seconds left in the matchup.
I love what Sizz did there, just using the ceiling to pop that ball past the defender who was right behind him on arrival time. But they need to do more of that. Cleanly beating Defusekids to the ball is the best way to beat them from what we saw earlier. You can often take multiple players out of the game if you can just get a clean hit hard over the top of them, but they don't have much time to do it, and I feel like it's last chance time now for Rogue. Will they be able to find an opportunity?
Yep, Turtle's going to try and push that forward.
No way,
It's going to
there
go
it is!
straight over the top. Huge mistakes coming out from Defusekids. Once again, they get in their own way.
But look at
And it's
Sizz.
going to be tied straight up. Oh, actually, Sizz
Look
in the
at
background.
Sizz.
That is huge.
Just running interference, bumping Scrubkiller into a position where he had no momentum left and he could not both fly up and forward at the same time. Tie game. Incredible stuff. Rogue find the goal that they desperately need, and now they're not done yet. They want to win this in regulation time.
Defusekids have let go of a 2-goal lead that they had earlier on, and we are in overtime, the first game of this best of 3. And we're going to see who can take it. Defusekids had such a great start to this matchup, but some clever gameplay coming out from Sizz has resulted in this overtime. And it's now going to be a case of who can hold their nerve that little bit better, who will be the first player to make that first critical mistake. As Pashy just trying to tempt a player out. And Scrub's going to try and move himself forward straight over into that corner area. Scrubkiller actually has got the opportunity, but too much power. Niels could not reach it in time. But they can continue to keep this in the blue end.
Rogue
Finally, it's straight towards the middle, and that is going to be it,
hurting.
Scrubkiller. And yep, it's those cutting passes straight into the middle. No response from Rogue. 1-0 to Defusekids.
Have no boost left as Rogue's boost in the back corner on one side gets stolen away. Every small boost in front of their net gets taken, and the boost on the other corner as well. All 3 of them stripped off that means to gain speed. Scrubkiller looks on in horror of his own ability to make ugly faces at the camera. But this is worrying for Rogue. I feel like that comeback would have given them a good chance if they were able to cement it with an overtime goal. But do they have what it takes to take 2 games in a row? They're up against it now, against a very talented team. We saw less of Niels Cock that last game than we did in the series earlier. Scrubkiller was just all over the place, as expected.
And it's a thing that Rogue will certainly need to get used to unless they're taking on teams like Genesis. There's not many teams out there that will prioritize boost stealing across everything else. That's what they got caught by towards the very end of that matchup. There's not many of them over in NA, so it might be something they have got less practice against. But either way, they will need to start looking towards that, control those 2 middle boosts as well if they really want to slow down Pashy and Scrubkiller.
Well, I know Fireburner and Jacob and NRG for the longest time have always been that team in NA who love to just steal every single boost. Just wait for the misplay to come in, wait for the whiff to come in because the opposing team can't reach the ball. But I was talking to XL after their loss to Defusekids earlier, and they said they just had no boost all series long. They could not get any boost in their own half because Defused are moving forward so aggressively. And I feel like Defused have found that sweet spot where they're still denying a ton of boost, but they're not overextending to do it like they were against XL. Even the skilled players of Rogue are not able to punish these boost steals because they're being done quite conservatively.
Certainly Rogue will look to respond to their previous loss. Remember, this is only best of 3 today as these teams try and make their way through to our top 8, which will be broadcast tomorrow, and that's going to be an opportunity, but Matt has the door shut on him. And now he needs to get himself completely back. Taps over to the side because he realizes he had about 10 boosts remaining, and Pashi is also pretty low. Chooses to go for the steal and is going to rotate himself straight back. Scrub actually might be the opportunity. Niels Cook will be around, and that's going to be putting Pashi actually. All right, Niels Cook is definitely getting held back then, because there is no reason why he wouldn't have been rotated in.
Pashi just goes straight from the corner to the midfield. Niels sitting deep, but it doesn't matter. With the pass that serviceable, anyone is going to tap that in. Pashi says thank you very much. Scrubkilla is definitely stepping up. We said this could happen. He's done this before on the stage in Insomnia Birmingham, where he has stepped up and carried his team like we had not seen from him at all up until then in that tournament. And he's certainly showing up right now. Best player in the field so far.
It's going to be Scrubkilla trying to find a dangerous scenario. Pashi almost managed to get there in time, but he is forcing boosts to be stolen. As we can actually see, one rogue player has just jumped past Niels Cook to try and steal something from the middle. As these balls keep bouncing off that backboard, eventually a save is forced by Turtle, but they've still not got the ball away just yet, and a long looping clearance by Matt. Looking for Turtle as well, but too much on the ball means that it will not be reached, and Defusekids will maintain their lead.
Defusekids just showing us the depth of talent in Europe. This rogue struggling to find foothold here. Not many chances being created. Backboard thoroughly defended by Scrubkilla. They're going to need to look for another avenue of attack. Counterattacks look like the most promising thing for them, but when you're losing, you can't rely on a counterattack because the other team obviously need to overextend for that to work. Now Niels comes into play. He's been quiet, but he does dribble one player, take a 50-50 at the second opportunity. Defuse looking very in control right now.
Certainly are. They are just controlling all of the field, and it never quite looks like Rogue have either got players in positions or enough boost to really try and go for any sort of their traditional passing plays around the field like they did earlier, and that is going to be a long shot by Pashi. No one back on Rogue, and it's happening more and more. Rogue trying to rotate everyone back at the same time means that they've never got anyone around. A demo earlier on pulled Matt out of the play and also missed the boost, as you just mentioned.
Would he have reached it?
Probably. He just respawned as it went past him.
Scrubkilla and Pashi, that combination has been good this game. Both goals coming from Scrubkilla, passing to Pashi. It's worth mentioning that shot was not at all free. Pashi had to hit that hard and early, and he did both exceptionally well. It's been a while since we've seen Pashi on a big stage, and he's performing a lot better than he did at RLCS Season 1, where his team were quickly dropped out of the tournament with 2 quick losses to Orbit and then to Genesis. Oh my goodness, Turtle this time starved on boost and barely able to keep that out the net.
Yeah, but that demo on Scrubkilla from Matt means that there was no third goal. You would have believed that that would have been the nail in the coffin, as Rogue desperately trying to keep themselves in this series, but struggling so much. And now amount of whiffs that we have seen coming out from them. This time they have managed to deal with it, but every single time there is no follow-up, and it is allowing Defusekids to continuously put pressure on. There's the third, and they are looking very convincing moving on in this game.
Yeah, Pashi was threatening the hat trick. Turtle had to fly in a blocking manner. Niels Cock following up, reads that miss by both players and slams it top shelf. Scrubkilla and the boys. 3-0. Very, very comfortable stuff here. We did see the comeback in Game 1 from Rogue, but it is looking so much less likely. Sizz not finding the right air roll angle that he was looking for. There's just no boost. We can see Sizz is on a journey into deep enemy territory in the hunt for boost, and there's just none to be found everywhere he goes. Very frustrating to play against teams that prioritize boosts like this.
So as we come towards the end of this series, Rogue, be interested to see how they respond.
Good read by
if
Turtle.
This remains as it is, because they've got a lot more games to play, and this could be a very deflating loss for them. Still, I believe only 2 goals scored, and that was in the last game. They've been kept completely clean throughout the entirety of game number 2. There's the attempt in passive plays, but not able to find each other. Matt will continue to try and put that pressure on. They know they need a goal right now, otherwise they will probably be giving up the L. And considering that one is now gone and there is 45 seconds remaining, it is going to be that much more difficult for them.
So difficult for them to play on the ground against a team including both Pashi and Scrub. Players who have long been known for their 1v1 capability, and they tried to take it to the air. Turns out Scrub, Niels and Pashi are pretty good in that area as well. Rogue just getting completely shut down this game. They were not able to bring those counter-attacking passing plays that we've seen work for them in the past. They were not able to, get hyphy on stage. The lack of the crowd, perhaps, and just the long day, the long days that they've been having. Certainly not the best Rogue that we've ever seen here, but this is not the end of the road for them. This is just a single loss where they'll be dropping to second seed in this group. But a very, very good looking Defused. Much better than what we saw earlier, has to be said. More organized. They're spreading out a lot more. They know that Rogue were a more threatening team than what they faced before, and they've respected that, adapted their playstyle accordingly, and they do take it 4-0 in game 2. Bashi, the Aviator, threatened a hat trick, but he has to settle for 2 aerial goals.